On today's episode of the Views from Section 400 podcast, we have an update on the Juan Soto sweepstakes that is breaking my brain and my heart. We have the SEC stomping the ACC in the SEC ACC Basketball Challenge. We have Dan Hurley turning into an absolute maniac and banning his team from preseason tournament play. We have an update on the college football playoff rankings, the penultimate college football playoff rankings. Again, we debate which teams should be in, which teams should be out, and I don't think we're ever going to get along on that. As always, our winners and losers of the week, and we finish off the show with our NFL Week 14 confidence picks. It all gets started soon. Let's go.
A16, turn me up.
And just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400, Matt, Brian, and Jack, bringing you along for all the action you heard of the cold open. We have a jam-packed show. Can't wait to get into it for all you guys. But we'll start off with a couple headlines here that are dominating the week, dominating the sport universe right now. And then we'll start it off with probably the biggest sweepstakes of them all. And that's the Juan Soto sweepstakes in the MLB. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what team he's going to go. I'm hearing the Red Sox are a big player. I think that's a total smokescreen. I think it's down to the Yankees and the Mets, the two teams out of New York. I don't know who he's going to go to. But, Brian, I know you've been all ears because your Mets are heavily involved in these conversations.
Yeah, this sweepstakes is making me maybe as sick as you were, Jack. I know you had quite the weekend. So, but before I get into how sick this has made me, I want to hear, are you feeling better?
I am feeling better. Believe it or not, I went and played the opening game for my rec basketball league last night while a little bit under the weather.
Okay.
We were down guys. They needed bodies, so came up off the bench, dropped 13 points, and the game winner in a 42-40 win. So somehow, some way, that actually broke my sickness, and I'm feeling a lot better. I know I probably still sound a little sick, but I'm on my way up.
Yeah, you sweat out all the bad germs, all the Trevor Lawrence bad juju, and now you're better. And you're back for your favorite segment later in the show, Michael of the Week.
Woo!
Seem ecstatic.
Yeah, you seem really excited about that. But no, Matt, I am already sick of the Soto sweepstakes. We're seeing all these blue check marks with like 8,000 Twitter followers talk about how they talk to a source close to Juan Soto, and he's close to signing with the Yankees, or he's close to signing with the Mets, or he's eliminating teams because his bidding's up to $600 million. And it's just our buddy, friend of the program, Nick Stewart, texted me with one of those blue check marks and was like, congratulations, because he's a Red Sox fan. Like you said, the Red Sox have been buying for him. I was watching Elf with Rose, and I had to pause Elf and be like, oh my God, I might have to pour a glass of champagne. They just signed Juan Soto. It's nothing. It's a smokescreen. Nick ruined my night by sending me that nonsense tweet. And it's the meme of Michael Scott going snip, snap, snip, snap. I'm sick of it. Just sign somewhere. And if it's not with the Mets, at least this nonsense will be over.
Well, it's at least some good news from that is, and again, who knows what the hell you can believe, but it sounds like he's nearing a decision, and the decision is said to possibly be made this week, which will give you your wish of the sweepstakes being over. Now, do we know if that's true? Do we know if that's, again, another smokescreen to have some team come from left field and throw another $600+ million contract in his face? Maybe, maybe not. But it's encouraging. This is the first time I'm seeing that the sweepstakes are nearing an end, which is, again, I'm in your boat. I just want to see where he signs, man. And I'm sure he wants to figure someone out too, because, you want to get settled in. You want to know who you're playing for. You don't want this to drag out like Harper did until February and then have a weird spring training and that whole thing. So I think we'll get it done before the new year. I could be totally wrong, but I think it makes sense. This is right around where Philly signed Trey Turner. Obviously, different situation, a lot less money. But this seems about the right time where a decision should be made and where these guys kind of make that call is right around this mid-December mark.
Yeah, there's two teams in it. It's the Yankees and it's the Mets. It's Scott Boras driving up the price on Steve Cohen, And then Juan Soto will make the final decision. Does he want the more money from the Mets or does he want to stay with the Yankees? And that's what it is. And I'm sick of seeing all these rumors because that's all everyone knows. It's either going to be the Yankees with less money or the Mets with more money. And it's whatever Juan Soto wants to do. And I just hope he makes a decision soon because it's killing me.
And, speaking of the Mets having more money to offer Soto, they're really kind of maybe pivoting towards this all-in transition year out the window. We're going all in, stupid money. Steve
The
Cohen,
transition year is done. Now they're all in. This is
now they're all in because they just signed a guy who had nearing a 5 ERA last year. Frankie Montas, what?
Okay, we're not going to start this again.
ERA.
I made fun of the Luis Severino signing after last offseason, and he was great. So I'm done. I'm done not just giving David Stern the benefit of the doubt. Whatever he does, I'm just going to say good job. I made fun of the Severino signing. I made fun of the Manaea signing. They both pitched great. The Mets pitching lab did great. So hey, Frankie Montas, he has like you said, a career 4.5 ERA. Maybe he'll pitch to a 3 ERA this season.
Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But $17 million. Look, it's not your money, so what the heck? Mets signed Frankie Montas to 2 years. What was it, $34 million deal? So we'll see what happens with him. I would have more confidence with Severino over Montas, but a lot of pressure pitching in New York. We'll see if Montas can do it. Couldn't do it with the Yankees.
No, he could not.
We'll see if he can do it with the crosstown rivals, still in the same big city. But another one that I think we all can agree we hate to see is the Dodgers getting richer. Blake Snell going to the Dodgers, deferring money. That's now 7 players getting deferred money, over $1 billion in deferred money. Jack, have you been keeping up with this at all? I don't know what to think of the Dodgers. The state of baseball is absolutely broken.
Yeah, well, I know that they just keep on offering these incredible contracts and deferring the money so they can just pay the guys later, keep everybody happy. I know, like Shohei, did he start the trend? I don't know if he started the trend, but he just deferred all
Bobby
that money.
Bonilla started the trend, but of course the Mets did it
That
wrong.
was your Mets, 30 years ago? They're still
getting paid.
The Dodgers caught on, and they're doing it the right way, as that World Series win proves. But look, I don't care enough. I think it doesn't break baseball and the team. I mean, look, the two biggest markets, two biggest teams made the World Series last year, and the bigger one won. So it's just crazy. That is the one thing I will say about the MLB. The little guys, they have a really tough time getting it done.
Yeah, we also have to remember, and it might be me coping here, but Blake Snell's not exactly the epitome of health. And the Dodgers keep doing this. Like, they signed Tyler Glass now, and we saw him get hurt last year, and they still won the World Series, but they're giving these pitchers money, and they could all be on the IL by August. So while it really hurts,
it doesn't hurt them to just add all these depth pieces. Like, you're right. Like Glasnow and then Kershaw too. He didn't pitch a single game in the entirety of the playoffs. Like,
that might have helped them, honestly.
Well, I know he's not a playoff hero, but he's certainly an ace in the game. So, for them, if they have the money to throw, why not?
Yeah.
There's not rules against it, which there should be.
Yeah, there should be. But again, if you're a fan of the team that's doing it, why do you care? And then if you're a small market team like the Kansas City Royals, or I guess Tampa Bay Rays can be considered small market as well, Oakland A's, who move into a better market in Las Vegas, but have to play in Northern California or wherever that is. That's a whole weird situation we don't have to get into.
A 2,000 fan stadium.
Yeah. But for all those guys, you're like, dude, how am I supposed to compete here? What am I supposed to do? And there is nothing you can do unless they add some type of not even luxury, a salary cap, or which I think this would never get approved because there's more rich people than not rich people, even though they're all rich, if that makes sense, where they would say, okay, we have a luxury tax, but based on what your owner's net worth is worth, that's how much you pay, right? So Steve Cohen would have to pay far more money if he goes over the luxury tax over the next guy who isn't worth as much now. That'll never get approved, but that's one way I think they can regulate it.
I think you just created a political affiliation.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. But
Yeah.
but what you could do is, not based on their net worth, but based on like their net spend on the team or something like that.
Well, yeah, some way to regulate it with still leaving the luxury tax,
And
or you say screw it and throw the salary cap in there.
yeah, and I got a question. So, what does a team like the Baltimore Orioles do, where they've got all of these young stars? Are they on rookie deals? Is that how that works? Where
Oh,
Well,
like
let me tell you about a little thing called arbitration.
yeah, I
It's
was gonna say baseball is very interesting.
they got to go to court for the next 5 years and figure out what their contract is going to be.
Right. It's basically like the arbitration judge is essentially not a broker, but a middleman, where the player submits what he thinks he's worth, the team submits what they think the player's worth, and then the judge comes to the middle, looks at the one submission, looks at the other, and then makes a decision on what he thinks it usually is, right? So Adley Rutschman could say, I'm worth 18 million a year. Baltimore Orioles could be like, we think it's more like 13. Arbitration judge will look at all the data, look at all the stats, and be like, yeah, 15 million a year. That's what you get, and then that's what he
okay,
gets.
but if he's like that's not enough and wants to go to another team, can he just hit free agency like that?
I don't think he has a choice, right?
No, yeah, you have to settle eventually. You can
There's
hold
some,
out.
yeah, you can hold
Okay,
out.
so my question is like, at what point does he get to go to another team?
Oh boy, he came out of high school, so he signs a contract for around 3 years, and then you get two pre-arbitration years and three arbitration years. I believe your sixth year, you're eligible for free agency. But he'll get an extension. Like you can avoid that by just signing an extension to
Yeah.
go through your arbitration years, which I'm hoping the Mets do with Mark Vientos eventually here.
Because that's my question. At a certain time period after all of these meticulous steps, 6 years later, you finally get to a point where you can go to another team and earn this big contract. Does a team like the Baltimore Orioles have a shot at keeping all of that young talent, or it's just going to end up going off to new teams because they can't afford to pay them?
Well, they just got
Well,
new ownership group, so the Orioles themselves will be fine. But yeah, a lot of these teams with bad ownership kind of just lose them.
So not only like can you not afford to sign these big free agents as a small market team, you can't even like build up through the draft unless you're keeping your window within like 6 years.
You get a compository draft pick if you offer them a
All
qualifying
right.
offer, and then
All right.
they decline that qualifying
dude,
offer
the
and sign
baseball
someone
is
else.
super weird.
Yeah,
Baseball's super weird, and it's December. We don't need to spend too much longer on this because we still have. And like I said, there's no way we're keeping this headline
Before
segment
the show, you
under
said
10 minutes. There's no way. I said there's no way. As soon as I saw the MLB topics, I was like, there's no way we're keeping this. I was like, maybe 10 minutes on the MLB alone.
well, yeah, Jack had to bring up arbitration, and I could talk for hours about the process of arbitration.
Well, because there's so many different ways in and around it on what a player can do, what the team can do, what the court can do, what uh like you said, the picks, the international money. We didn't even get into international money, but we'll stop right there. Why don't we jump into some college basketball? The feast week was obviously last week for Thanksgiving. We touched on the NFL on Sunday and Monday. So this is kind of the first time we get to digest. Sure, you can call that a play on words, right? Because Thanksgiving, you eat a lot of food. We'll digest a bit and go over what just happened. So, Brian, the Auburn Tigers won a basketball game.
They won
Jack,
multiple basketball
they won
games.
multiple,
Won a
but
couple basketball
they
games.
won the big one. They won the big one that took home the Hawaii championship. UConn lost three straight, and Dan Hurley threw a temper tantrum. We'll get on him a little bit later in the show. And yeah, the Oregon Ducks out of nowhere. Yo, they're great at football. Holy smokes, they're great at basketball too.
Yeah, and I'm proud of this one. Before we talk about Oregon, when we did our picks, our preseason picks, and there's a long way to go. We haven't even started conference play yet. But I figured Dana Altman might have a shot to win the Big Ten here. So that was my lone kind of zig while everyone else zagged and picked Purdue. And I'm proud of that. Jackson Shelstad hasn't even gotten going yet. He's a sophomore, a great guard. Kind of reminds me of Lipsy, your guy from Iowa State. But
Mm.
I love the Oregon Ducks. I don't love their football team because they just flipped Naheem Offord from Auburn, but I love their basketball team.
Dude. It's what that Nike guy said, man. Yeah, unlimited NIL to my Oregon program. So look at the football team, number one all season. Look at the basketball team hitting their stride. Uh, Shout out Oregon, man. Money talks.
Yeah, they got
Shout
a
out Oregon,
center.
dude.
They got a center named Nate Biddle, and their forwards named TJ Bamba. Just a couple of fun names to say too. Fun team.
We got
Yeah,
a
and I
new
think the
Bamba.
TJ Bamba guy was on Villanova last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there's been a couple. I think TJ might have been Nova. There was a Flo Bamba too.
Yeah, I'm like super confident that that guy was on Nova. But speaking of Villanova, they just won a huge game. Sure, it wasn't Feast Week, but they just knocked off the number 14th ranked Cincinnati Bearcats, who were 6-0, undefeated, handed them their first loss. And it's a little bit, you know, the shiny toy in the window, but when you dig down below the surface, you look at what the Cincinnati Bearcats are. They didn't really play anybody. They played nobody at all. So sure they were 14th in the country, but I don't like see them that big of a threat. But Eric Dixon, I don't know how that guy's not a candidate for the Wooden Award. He probably is, but 31-7, unbelievable night for him. And yeah, the Cats get a much needed win. Sucks they lost three straight before that, but they're 5-4, and I don't know if that's good news or bad news because Kyle Neptune probably just bought himself a little more time.
Yeah.
On paper, Brickus, Wooga Poplar, and Eric Dixon should be a good enough 1, 2, 3 to get you at the top of the Big East. And the Big East is pretty fucking bad this year.
Right.
So
It's
yeah.
it's really tough. But we are only in December. There's six more crazy games tonight. And before I jump into those, when they do the challenges, I actually forgot how electric they are. Like the SEC versus ACC, the Big 12 versus the Big East. Like these are fun games that are have the conference feel, right? The stadiums are packed, the fans are going nuts. It has conference play feel. They're just obviously it's the one conference versus the other, but I love when they do this. I think it creates a great atmosphere, competitive basketball, and great games early in the season before conference play. So I'm all for it. Love this the way it started kind of last night with a huge Clemson Kentucky game where I think Clemson came out on top.
Yep.
Yeah, another big one tonight. Bama plays against UNC, Auburn against Duke, Texas, North Carolina State. Like, there's a lot of fun games. And look, it's Tuesday night, it's Wednesday night, it's Thursday night. Like, we don't have to wait for the weekend for these big time college games that usually you have to wait for. So I'm all for it. Love to see it. Gives you something to do during the week.
Yeah,
No
and
doubt.
I mean, Kentucky fans when the SEC ACC Challenge got announced. They started last year, but they announced the field in the offseason for this year. They were not happy that Auburn was playing in Cameron Indoor. They thought they deserved that game, and they just got beat by an unranked Clemson team, albeit a Clemson team that was only 2-point underdogs at home. But you might have not deserved that Duke game because the Auburn Tigers are the second-ranked team in the country right now.
Yeah, maybe
They
when it was
are.
like Calipari versus Coach K, like you could sell me on that, like that rivalry, sure, but not now. I mean, come on now. This is Auburn time.
Yeah, the
It
look
is
at me,
Auburn time.
I am the blue blood now memes are in full force.
But what you have to look out for in the SEC, especially, I know there's a lot of SEC schools, but one that Myers stole from me on my team to look out for in the preseason teams to look out for. But the Ole Miss Tigers were a 2-point road underdog at Louisville, who Louisville took a big step from last year. I think they knocked off Indiana down in the Bahamas. Maybe I'm
They
wrong. I'm
did.
not quite sure. They knocked off Indiana down in the Bahamas. Ole Miss went into Kentucky, Louisville, and won by like 20 or 25 points. So the Ole Miss Rebels are legit. Chris Beard's the head coach, has them playing great defense, which is what he kind of, prides his coaching technique on. But Ole Miss has always had solid offense and great offensive players. So they're mixing the great offense in with the good defense. I think Ole Miss is absolutely a threat this year, and teams should not take them lightly, including the Auburn Tigers.
I can't get get all the way there with you. I do think they could be a tournament team, but there's a lot of good teams in the SEC.
Yeah, no, I
Could be
mean
a tournament team, Brian. That Ole Miss,
they're
that might be a not a 0% colon guarantee, but 100% colon guarantee that the Ole Miss Rebels are making the tournament.
They're going to have a tough time winning a lot of games in the conference.
They're already like 7-0 or 7-1.
We did this last year. They started off, what, 12-0? And then they
Yo,
struggled in
Ole
the
Miss
SEC. Yeah.
is a completely different team.
completely different conference too.
It is a completely different conference. But you're right. The SEC is absolutely flip the script. You go 10, 15 years ago, the SEC didn't even know how to play basketball. I'm surprised they even had basketball teams. Now, outright, totally the best football conference and the best basketball conference. Probably has a little bit to do with NIL, a little bit to do with football being so dominant. So they just try to follow. I don't know what it is, but the SEC outright, all these conferences are going to collapse and just start joining the SEC, and then we're just going to have one big super conference.
Eventually just going to turn into the SEC versus the Big Ten.
Right.
That's what we're going to get.
That's what we're trying to, because the ACC, I mean, not right this second, but look at Clemson. Like, there's no way, like, they're going to go to the SEC at some point. They have to.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the ACC is going to collapse. And then they're going to collapse.
They're down. They played 10 games in this challenge yesterday, and the ACC won one game. Like,
which was the Clemson game, right?
Yeah, you tell me that 5 years ago, and I would think that's the craziest thing ever. The SEC beat the ACC in 9 out of 10 basketball games.
Yeah, that's what. Well, that was kind of my point. I was like, the SEC, they should have even had basketball programs, and now they're the outright leader in college basketball. So to start, but right for now, for me, it's the SEC, the Big Ten, and then everybody else. There's really no in between, or not really that close. But we could go on and on. There's obviously a lot more to get to in the show, but yeah, college basketball is here, heating up, and it's the most fun. And obviously conference play is fun, but this is really like the most fun until you get to March, because it's these high intense games. And I know conference play is fun. I don't know how to say it, but it's a lot of fun, man. Maybe just because I'm in the Christmas spirit and you have college basketball going on, and it's a lot of fun, like I said. But what's also fun, or what the NBA wants to think is fun, is the Emirates NBA Cup. Brian's our
look
NBA
a little
insider.
excited, Jack.
Dude, I hate this NBA Cup.
It's like fine. I'm cool with having a competition inside of the competition, incentivize the players with money, as anybody can be incentivized by, and create some competitive NBA basketball in December when nobody gives a shit about the NBA until April. Yeah, sure. I'm all for it. Why not?
I hate the courts. I can't watch
That's your issue with it?
I can't watch the game.
I don't hate the courts. If
I can't
anything,
watch the
I
games.
think it's kind of cool. I think it's like they did something cool, at least.
It's different.
Hey,
It's different.
Look, tomato, potato, man.
Some are better than others. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I struggle watching those games, just like how I struggle watching Boise on that blue field. I'm not a fan of it.
I'm a huge Boise on the blue guy.
Boise
Brian,
on the
why
blue,
do
baby.
you look like Jack just broke your brain?
Oh, I'm having trouble getting past tomato potato.
Oh, the tomato potato?
Yeah.
I don't know the context behind that.
I've
You
never
like
heard that
tomatoes, I
before.
like potatoes.
Okay, fair enough. What if you like them both?
They often go
Guess it
together.
doesn't work.
I think if you like them both, you say tomato, tomato.
Let's not go too far
I think
down
normal
this rabbit
people
hole.
say potato, potato, or tomato, tomato. You just decided to combine the two sayings.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially is
agree.
what happened. That's why Brian's brain broke. Now
Yeah, it
we're
is why my
all
brain
on the same
broke.
page.
It's been a long day, man. A lot of signings today. National Signing Day. But I guess we could all pick a team to win this. Why not? Make it fun.
Yeah, I think we should do that before we jump into the college football playoff and all of college football. Brian, why don't you run us through who is actually in the NBA Cup playoffs, and then we'll all make a pick.
I'll help you guys out. It's our darlings from last year, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the 1 seed in the West, by the way. Again, we may have been a year too early, but they'll be taking on The Warriors. The Warriors are the 4 seed. And then the Houston Rockets, who are my pick to be the surprise team in the NBA roundtable, are the 2 seed. And they'll be taking on the 3 seed, the Dallas Mavericks. And then on the Eastern side, you have the Bucks taking on the 4 seed Magic and the 2 seed Knicks taking on the 3 seed Hawks, who outlasted the Celtics in their group to make it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and it's, everybody's like, oh, the Celtics didn't make it, which fair, that's the headline right now, but they still are going to make the playoffs and what everybody else cares about, the regular season and the actual playoffs in April, May, June. And they still have the best shot to win it all. So that is where I'm going.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't know. Give me the Magic. Give me the Magic to win the whole thing.
Yeah, you know what? The team that's been
they don't have Paolo.
Paolo's out right now?
Paolo is out right now.
I wasn't going to go with the
Magic. Give me the Knicks to win it all.
I wasn't going to go with the Magic. I'm going to go with probably the hottest team in the NBA right now and the most surprising hottest team. The team that seems perfect to win this. That's going to be the Houston Rockets, who are playing lights out basketball right now for who knows why, because Reed Shepherd's been worse than I don't even know a good analogy to put him with, but he's been bad. Jalen Green's looked like I don't know about MVP, but definitely an all-star. And give me the Houston Rockets to win the NBA Who Cares Cup.
Yeah, Reed Shepherd kind of is doing his best Jimmer Fredette impression right now.
Yeah. But lights out in college and whatever in the NBA. Doesn't get a lot of playing time because of Jalen Green, but with the minutes he does get, I wouldn't say he's making the most of them.
No, he is not. And I'll go with the Rockets too. I have my I talked about before the podcast needing a 50 burger from Shea to cash a leg in my season-long parlay. I still need a triple-double from Alfred Sengun. I need 3 of them, and he's yet to get 1. So the more games they play, the better. So let's go with the Rockets.
Ryan and I, all the same page with the Houston Rockets. Jack, dude, I feel like with the NBA Cup, picking the team that probably has the best shot in the Knicks is not the way to go.
I mean, what makes you say that? They're not a 1 seed. You're just always trying to make me seem like the chalk guy. I could have picked the Bucks or the Bucks or the Thunder are the 1 seeds here, and then you guys picked a 2 seed just like me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Downtown Nick Brown's going to be pretty disappointed in you after you switched up on his Magic.
Look, if they had Paolo, I'd be there.
That's true. You did say the Magic, which I would have liked as a better pick.
He thought Paolo was there.
And you bailed on him. Bailed on him. You threw him to the curb.
A big deal.
He is a big deal.
Simple as that.
You know it's also a big deal? Getting $1 million if you win, or whatever amount of money you get if you win. So don't count these guys out.
No doubt.
I'll stick with the Rockets, but the Magic do have those Germans over there that did not medal in the Olympics, unfortunately for me. That was my big Olympic basketball play.
Could be some revenge there. I don't know who they're really getting revenge on, but maybe.
Yeah, all the Americans played in it, right? Steph Curry?
I don't know. It's all split up, though. It's weird. Maybe. Sure. Maybe there's an angle there, but I'm not sure I can get there on that being like an Olympic revenge factor. But I'm all in the Rockets to get this one done. They've been playing lights out basketball the first 2 months of the season. I think they get it done. Some tough competition. Maybe the Thunder get it done too. They seem like a team that would win this. I don't think the Mavericks win it. I don't even think the Warriors get it done. Steph don't really give a shit about this money.
Brian, the more I look at these teams that are left in this cup, Steph Curry might be the only player that was on this Olympic team. Unless Chris Middleton was on the team.
No, he was hurt.
Yeah, I think it was just Steph Curry, bro.
Yeah, no, you might be right here. Yeah, it was just Steph Curry. Well, I'm happy I named Steph Curry. You don't even have Serbia. You don't even have Jokic in there, who the Germans lost to in that third place game.
No, not a lot of Olympic guys in these 4 teams.
We will jump into some college football right now.
College football recap is presented by Bowl Miss. That's right. We're coming back with the 12 days of Bowl Miss. 12 episodes in 12 days featuring familiar guests and some new ones. So stay tuned. It all starts Monday, December 16th.
Can't wait. Fulmus is back. Yeah, I mean, dude, college football, where we don't have the action in the Addery, we do have the action on the field because college football rivalry week was unbelievable. Maybe not in the Iron Bowl for our Auburn fans, but everything else was wild. Michigan, OSU, Ohio State had to probably be the most crazy with the, low scoring Big Ten cold weather-esque type football game. Michigan gets it done on the road, 13-10. They try and plant the flag, and all hell breaks loose. What'd you guys think?
Look, it happened all over the landscape of college football with the flag planting and the brawls after the game and even during the game. Man, do whatever you want, celebrating on your own field, but if you're on the other team's field trying to plant
you're going to be this old man.
Yeah, I'm going to be the old man. Respect the game.
You respect what game? They just beat their rival.
Yeah.
They don't have to respect them. They respected them by beating them.
All right, I'll be the middleman here.
No, look, you want to go celebrate in the locker room, on the bus ride home, back at your own field, throw yourself a fucking parade through the city.
Did they hurt that field's feelings by picking up the grass?
They might have.
Brian, I'm not talking about feelings. I'm talking about damage, bro. You got to rip up the turf and get new ones. And just respect the fucking game. That's all I ask. Just respect. You kick their ass. Go clown them however you want. Anywhere except for on their field.
Let the kids have fun.
You go win a huge game on your own field. Go crazy. You want to plant your flag in your own field? Sure, go for it. I don't know. The lack of respect all across the landscape.
They've been getting shit on all year. They've had a horrible season, at least Michigan, and then they go in the shoe and beat Ohio State, the second best team in the country.
They're the reigning champs. So show some fucking class.
It's a rivalry game. There is no respect. It's a rivalry. There is, and look, there's the whole, well, if you don't want them to do it, we'll beat them. That's another case. But look, if Michigan's 10-0 and Ohio State's 10-0. Okay, have a little class, have a little respect. I can understand that a little more. But like Brian just said, Michigan, 5 wins or already had 5 losses, coming in as a 20-point underdog. 20-point underdog. Ohio State and the fans are talking shit all week. You then
fans are always talking shit.
Always, but that's regardless of the fact. It's more heightened when you're 20-point underdog coming in. You got to sit there and deal with that. You come in 20-point underdog, like I said, to Ohio State on the road. Ohio State's going to get a bye, this and that. They're, have national championship aspirations. On the 5-loss, defending champion, national champion Michigan Wolverines come in and beat you on your own turf. Go plant that damn flag. Let them know that they just got whooped and embarrassed in a rivalry matchup. In a rivalry matchup. I understand respect in the game, but let the kids have fun. This isn't an NFL game. This is college. What these kids and also the fact, Michigan, a 5-loss team who had no business winning that game, is 4-0, 5-0 in the last 5. They haven't lost. So in a game where they come in as 20-point underdogs and preserve that undefeated stretch, absolutely, I'm all for it. I love to see it. And look, I give Ohio – don't say, Ohio State has no class for fighting after the game. Absolutely. Defend your field.
Okay,
defend
this is where
field.
This is where you
defend your field.
This is where
I'm all
you
in. I love to see it, bullshit. And I'm all for it. Ryan Day did nothing. He sat there with his hands in his pants. Ryan Day did nothing.
I like MMA.
Ryan Day said, "What happened? What happened? You just lost the freaking football game. What do you mean? What happened?"
No, I'm saying if Matt's calling for fights on the field
I'm not calling for fights.
Yes,
Don't
you
put
are.
words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
You kind of just called for
Matt, I said defend your field.
What does that mean?
Matt, you advocated for planting the flag, and then you advocated for defending the field. So you're advocating for fights on the field.
I'm advocating for that particular circumstance. You have the right to plant the field. Did you listen to anything I said in the beginning? If both teams are 10-0, don't go plant the field. Have some respect the game. But everything that went into that, look at all the meat of what went into that. You absolutely go plant that flag. You have to. And then Ohio State did the right thing to defend themselves. So in that particular situation, in that one circumstance of where that happens, I think everything that unfolded is justified. And I will die on that hill because Michigan needs to plant the flag and Ohio State needs to defend themselves. That's not going to happen every week. That's not going to happen every day. But in that particular, everything that means Michigan, the undefeated streak, the 5 losses, 20-point underdog, every little particular circumstance, it's like
So because they
the weird anomaly of all these little things lining up.
Because they suck.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah,
you're
you deserve to celebrate a little extra because you suck.
That's what you're getting at. You're 20 ways around they sucked, so they're able to do this.
It's a justified action, yes.
I think it's warranted. Now the fight at the end, I don't agree with. I think the art of shaking hands with your rival and then celebrating is kind of lost now. Everyone seems to be fighting, but there's nothing wrong with planting the flag or ripping up the field or nothing wrong with it.
So it happened like 3 different teams, like the Ohio States, the UNCs, the Florida States. You're just supposed to let them plant that flag and like smile and wave at them? No. Get the fuck off of my field is the point. Go have your fun. Let the kids have fun. I'm with you. Go do it anywhere else except for not your football field.
Why not?
And I don't want to hear, oh, they won the game. It's their football field now. Like, shut up. Grow up.
No, it's not their football field. They
It's
did
not
win.
their football field.
They deserve to celebrate on the football field they won on. And if that involves a pitchfork into the stake of whatever mascot of the team you beat, then so be it.
No, that's where you lose me. You can celebrate. You don't disrespect the field. You don't disrespect the game.
When the Soviets raised the flag in Berlin, it wasn't their city, but they won.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what happened. I will die on the hill that it was like a perfect puzzle. Everything that lined up, justified on both sides. And look, call me out in the comments. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I think absolutely justified. And again, sure, am I being maybe a little over the top about maybe inciting fights? Not inciting fights, but saying that they're okay? Maybe. But I think in that particular circumstance, if you're Michigan, you got to plant that flag. If you're Ohio State, you got to defend the field. Look,
if you're that cop, you got to spray the mace.
It's fire and fire, dude. Something's going to happen, and it probably ain't going to be good. But that's what we saw there. I know we spent a lot of time there. Iron Bowl sounds like you guys don't want to talk about that. Brian,
I mean, there's not much to talk about unless you want to talk about Alabama getting in over some of the other 3-loss teams.
Yeah, they're probably going to. When SMU loses to Clemson this week, who does SMU play?
Clemson. Well, if Clemson wins, I think Alabama's out.
Well, Clemson's auto in, right?
Yeah, and then SMU has to be in over Alabama.
I think if SMU loses as a 2-loss team of playing a dog shit schedule, I don't think they're in, especially if Miami's out.
The committee said, though, they're not going to really punish you for losing in the championship games. And if they did say that. If they stay true to that, there's no reason that SMU should be out over a 3-loss Alabama.
You're absolutely right. I agree. But I don't know that SMU, regardless of getting hurt at the championship, has the rest of their schedule to convince a committee that they should be in with 2 losses. But it's a whole debate that's going to happen because then you say, how did you let Alabama in over 2 losses? But then Alabama played a tougher schedule. Oh, but they lost to Vanderbilt. Oh, but Vanderbilt's not that bad. You see the rabbit hole you can go down on all this shit?
It's really all about like what you prioritize and like how you view things. Because I mean, the Big Ten and the ACC, they want to talk about the losses that these teams have, and then the SEC, they want to talk about the wins that they have. So it's looking at the complete body of work. I find it hard as an SEC truther to leave some of these SEC teams out, like South Carolina, but they're going to. They're valuing the teams who played easy schedules, had less losses, and I think the SEC needs to take note of that.
I think the one team that you can really make a case for in the SEC is South Carolina.
Yeah,
Bama has bad losses. Ole Miss has bad losses. South Carolina's won 6 in a row, and they just beat a team in the ACC who the committee clearly is trying to figure out what their worth is in Clemson. South Carolina should be in.
The 14 playoff created the 12 team, and I think the 12 team is going to create the 16 team, or maybe even beyond. Look, you can't say it's impossible. I think that's exactly where we're trending. If more money's involved, how do you say no? I think at some point, maybe not next year, not in 5 years, who knows when, but I think absolutely we could see a 16 playoff sooner rather than later.
Just let everyone in. Make it March Madness.
Why not? I'm for it.
We'll have a first four.
16 might be too crazy, but look, we'll see how the 12 goes. If it starts turning into this whole controversy, because look, we thought like, oh, it'd make it 12 teams and then we're good. But clearly the controversy has only been heightened that much more.
And I think the main reason is when we were at 4 teams, we were sitting there, we're like, there's really only like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 teams that can do it. This year, you could really go all the way out to like 16 teams that could go all the way up, unless Oregon is that good and it just won't lose. The next best team is Texas, and they're beatable.
Boise State
Right.
lost by 3 to Oregon. This thing's wide open, and it's
And that's what that's the one. That's what I believe too, Brian. But the fact that they are still undefeated and probably about to go win that Big Ten championship. I mean, they might be, as you like to say, the team of destiny, and they don't lose a game.
And why I do have Oregon winning it all, but solely for putting Brian's West Coast take to bed. But where Brian just brought up the 3-point loss to Boise State, I don't know how everybody in the country is not putting $10 on Boise State plus 7,500 to win the national championship. They played Oregon extremely close. They're a legit team. They're way better. This was back in September. Plus 7,500? I'm taking a stab all the way, dude. They totally could get this done. And look, I'm here for it.
They're a good team, but they may lose to UNLV in that championship.
I don't think so.
It's gonna be a good game.
I don't think so at all. The committee doesn't penalize you for conference championship losses.
Yeah, but there's not really room. They're ranked 11, so if they lose to a UNLV team ranked 20,
then does UNLV automatically get in the playoff?
Yeah, UNLV would probably be the 12, and the Big 12 winner would get the bye.
Wow, that's not fun. Let's just hope that doesn't happen for the sake of all our sanity. I'm still taking a stab on Boise State at plus 7,500. But the only other big thing that I saw over the past weekend that I'm really pumped up to see and not have to hear about anymore was Syracuse knocking off the Miami Hurricanes. They put that story team run, whatever you want to call it, to bed.
Why do you hate them so much?
Fraud. I think they're frauds, dude. They're total frauds. I thought they were frauds from the beginning of the year. Everybody hyped them up because they beat a bad Florida team and started puffing their chests like, oh, Miami's back after beating Florida on the road in the swamp against what is Florida, 4-5 loss team. And it was week 1 that everybody puffed their chest. Miami's back. Miami's back. This Cam Ward guy. I didn't like it. Rubbed me the wrong way. And from there on, I found more joy in them losing over winning. And that's just what it was. Call me a hater. Call me whatever you want. I got to see the outcome I wanted and them missing the playoffs. So take that to your bet, Brian. It's what it is.
I really hope Cam Ward is the next quarterback of the New York Football Giants.
I do too.
Really do too.
I think we all do for different
That'd
reasons.
be so fun.
That would be awesome. I'll be there game 1 booing him.
You'll probably be there every game doing him.
In a Jeremy Shockey Miami jersey.
Playing the 7th floor rep.
Yup. Anyway.
That's it for now.
Last thing. Indiana in or out? Indiana in or out? Real quick, around the horn. In or out? I don't know that they should be in.
How can you still sit here and say they're going to be out?
No, they're gonna be in.
Juice from last year.
The question was in or out, and you just said out.
No, well, they're gonna be in. I don't think they should be in.
Oh my God.
I
Bro,
said in or
I'm
out.
going to
Yeah.
sit here and die on the hill that these 3-loss SEC teams are way better than Indiana. Way better. South Carolina would smoke them. I bet Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss would smoke them. Bama would smoke them.
Maybe. Just don't lose 3 games.
But Brian, these guys play in the SEC. Okay, you know what that means better than most people. And you really want to say don't lose 3 games? What?
Yes.
What? You want me to go lose? You want me to go move to the conference? Let me go move to the Big Ten and make my life a fucking Candyland.
It's what it is. It would be
Just don't
a
lose 3
Candyland,
games.
wouldn't it?
How does the
You
season
got to
end,
pick
Jack?
one side.
How does the season end for every team besides one?
Not the champion?
You lose. You can't lose. Don't lose to teams. You can win games. Don't lose.
Yeah, that's real rich coming out of your mouth. Somebody who said that the 13-0 Seminoles shouldn't make the playoff last year.
Yeah, well, it's
That's it
different
on
when it's
college
4
football.
teams. Different
Don't
when it's
wanna
4
hear it.
teams. And we
That's
can go
it.
back and forth on this forever.
Don't lose. Don't lose. They didn't.
Well, they kind of did. Jordan Travis
They didn't.
lost his mobility.
Don't want to hear
And
it.
that's a whole different thing.
Why?
And now it's time for winners and losers, presented by SeatGeek.
The weather may be getting cold late in the year, but the sports action is heating up. With the final stretch of the football season upon us and basketball season now here, the only place to go for the best tickets for each game is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast, and whether you're looking to sit courtside of the Sixers game, find a last-minute deal up in Section 400 for the Iron Bowl, or looking to just cheer on your alma mater in a preseason basketball tournament, SeatGeek's one-of-a-kind system helps you find the best deal for the best seats in the house. Use code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting.
Who doggy?
And now it's time for the hottest segment, the best segment in Views from Section 400 podcasting history. It's the winners and losers of the week. I can't wait to get into it because we have some fun ones. At least I do. Brian, you kick us off with a winner. Jack will hit a winner. I'll hit a winner. And then we will hit the losers of the week.
Yeah, I think you said those exact words about the NFL confidence picks when we did those last week. But I'm glad you're coming around to the winners and losers here. My winner is
It can switch.
I guess it's a fluid ranking here of segments, but yeah, my winner is Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy has 3,865 career receiving yards. 546 of those have come in 5 games with Jameis Winston. That is 14% of his career receiving yards since Jameis Winston began to start.
In 5 games, dude. That's wild. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more with the great winner right there, Jerry Jeudy. Especially, particularly this week. What do you have? 200 receiving yards.
Like 40 fantasy
touchdown.
points.
Yeah, so, and it was funny. People were getting clouded on Instagram because they were like, oh, is Jerry Jeudy going to have a great week this week? And everybody was like 3 catches for 30 yards. And he absolutely blew past that, more than blew past that. So that was great to see. Yeah, really, really happy.
Yeah, he hasn't been that productive since he was at Alabama.
No, and I almost didn't put him as a winner this week just because of that. But there's so many of those dudes around the league that if I banned every Alabama player from being a winner of the week, I think I'd run out eventually.
Definitely. No, you absolutely would. And who wants to give Alabama the winner of the week, especially you guys?
Definitely not.
Never.
Ryan does. Ryan sometimes thinks about it in his dreams.
Just the Alabama as a program as my winner?
Yeah, that's what you do.
No, definitely not. Matt, you got a winner for us?
I do. Why do you not?
He's got 2
I've got
losers.
losers. I've got 2 losers this week for you guys.
That's right. I do. I do have a fun winner, and I kind of took a page out of Brian's book with this one. Kept it in the AFC, but it's actually going to be the resurgence of prime Russell Wilson. He is back. We haven't seen it for the last 7 years, but dangerous Wilson, is that what they called him? Prime Russ is back. 414 passing yards, 3 TDs. The Steelers are usually not even known for having a good offense. 44 points Steelers are looking dangerous. Russ Wilson's looking dangerous. He wins my winner of the week because Prime Russ is back.
I can tell you don't like him, but you got to give the guy some credit.
I don't know.
You have to give him some credit, dude. The guy's been lights out.
I just don't like him.
The Steelers were a really good football team to start the season with Justin Fields. And that was primarily because of the defense. I feel like their offense has actually become somewhat legitimate now. Like, this is why they made that switch from Fields to Wilson, is he gives them that extra, just the boost of NFL offense that actually has them winning games, not relying on the defense for all 60 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's playing good football. I just don't like him. So I'm not going to sit here and celebrate.
Well, I'm not going to try and change your opinions on his character right now. I'll let somebody else do that.
Well, it might not be his character. I don't know. It's just a weird aura. I just don't like him.
Why? Because he doesn't come in and say Steelers country, let's ride.
He called himself Mr. Unlimited and proceeded to rob the Denver Broncos of all their money.
That he did.
And then now he's on the Steelers and he's balling out. So whose fault is it?
But he goes on Sunday Night Football when he's injured and makes sure the camera's on him and then does the warm-up drills so the cameras see him, and it's just he's a weird dude.
How does he make sure the cameras are on him? Because he does the warm-ups?
It's like right before the game when the team's in the tunnel and he's the only one out there. And you could clearly be in the locker room. It's I don't know. The dude just
get loose. He's getting loose.
It does things that annoy me.
Fair enough. I guess fair enough, but you do have to give the respect, like Jack said. But Jack, you got a loser for us since you're double losered up?
Yeah, I'm double losered up. Speaking of people that annoy me, whoever ranks these college basketball programs, the AP poll, whoever it is, you annoy me. In what world are the Auburn Tigers not the number one team in the nation right now? Like, what do we have to prove? We've beaten 4 top 12, top 15 teams already. We just won the Maui Invitational. Routed UNC and friggin' Iowa State and Houston, all the way from home. Like, what more do you want from us? Kansas, tell me what they've done. I know they're a good program. I know they have good players. I know they're a good team. But what have they done over Auburn that says Auburn shouldn't be number one and Kansas should?
They beat Duke and UNC. But if I had to vote, I would vote for Auburn. But I don't have a problem with the voters keeping Kansas there. It was also very close. They had 9 more total points than Auburn did. If Auburn beats Duke, they'll be number one.
I had Auburn as number one when they beat UConn. But then UConn proceeded to lose 2 more after that. So that's why I didn't hold as much weight. And then I looked at what Brian said about...
They didn't play UConn.
We beat Iowa State first round.
They beat Iowa State, then North Carolina.
And who did UConn lose to?
Memphis,
yeah.
Oh, I thought... Okay, then yeah, whatever I was about to say is a bunch of bullshit. And Auburn definitely should be number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah.
Well, Brian, see, I just if your main reasoning for keeping Kansas,
why can't they be interchangeable? They can be interchangeable.
I'm just saying, Brian, if your reasoning for keeping Kansas at 1 is wins over UNC and Duke, I mean, Auburn's going to have that by the time this podcast releases tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and then they should be ranked number 1. I just don't think
Duke is that big of a factor over Iowa State and Houston.
It's not just that. It's the fact. I mean, Kansas. If Auburn was in the spot Kansas is in, and they were ranked first, and they had a win over a top 10 team, and then the number 2 ranked team won a couple of big games, you would be sitting here saying Auburn doesn't deserve to lose that number 1 ranking. It's not the fact they don't deserve it. It's just they did what they had to do. They're still undefeated. I don't mind them still hanging on to number 1. Now, if Auburn beats Duke and then Richmond and has a 2-0 week when Kansas doesn't really play anybody, then we could have that conversation. Auburn got another big win. I think they deserve it now.
Well, while we're on the topic of college basketball, and I don't know if Brian's loser of the week was college basketball centric. Is it, Brian? No? Okay. And I touched on it in the beginning. I said we're going to get into it later in the show, and I didn't want to go into it, but it's going to be Dan Hurley. I mean, that guy is a total loser of the week. Temper Tantrum Dan is my new nickname for Dan Hurley. The guy lost 3 straight, had no accountability, all the excuses, got embarrassed in an early season invitational tournament. Like, said he's okay, so they lose whatever, loses 3 straight. They do horrible. They look horrible. The guy takes no accountability. He points fingers, deflects blame. And then he goes on, not national TV, but obviously a lot of people, saw his interview or post-game press conference, whatever you want to call it, whenever he was giving the interview. He said he's never doing one of those again. He's never doing the preseason. Like, dude, what a sore loser. This guy, to me, is so unlikable. I don't care what anybody says about him being a great coach. Okay, he won the 2 national titles, this, that, whatever. The guy's so unlikable. Temper Tantrum Dan is my loser of the week.
Yeah, TTD. He was saying, bro, he was out in the media. He's like, I'm never doing one of these again. One of these 3 days.
Dude, what a loser.
What do you call them? MTEs.
MTEs. I'm never doing one of these. I'm only doing 1-and-1s, from here on out. Bro, shut up. Go play basketball. Go coach basketball. Shut up.
When was that his decision? I guess the coach has a hand in saying what they do, but like, is it like if one of these tournaments is offering them huge money to come play, is that going to be his call? Like, I feel like that's the athletic director to make that call. Hey, man, they're giving us $5 million to come out and play. Dan, tough luck, dude. You're getting out there and playing.
Yeah, we're now at the point where there was that Vegas tournament that Oregon won that Bama was in too, where they paid the players to play in it. So you're going to rob your players of that opportunity to make some money if you get invited?
He just won't recruit. I mean, it's also, just seeing stuff like this as like a high school kid, looking at colleges. I mean, obviously, UConn is priority kind of, top tier school, but seeing this, Dan Hurley, I mean, I don't know if I would want to play for him.
Yeah, but
he's
2
starting
championships.
to possibly. I don't know, man.
Right,
Jay Wright won 2 championships, and I would have much rather
there.
have played for that guy than Dan Hurley. I know Jay Wright's not involved anymore, but Jay Wright was a way more likable guy over Dan Hurley. I mean, this guy is like brutal.
Yeah,
As I'm watching the UConn game right now, and he's fucking throwing a hissy fit.
I've just said some guys probably just see the success, and I mean, maybe the success ends this year, but
no doubt.
It definitely does. You want to talk about? Oh, that's a tough 0% for me to give out, but I think there's a 0% chance UConn. I think there's a 0% chance they win, dude. I really don't think they do. I don't want to put that juju out. I don't want to put that juju out there though for Dan Hurley to win again.
They got a lot of young kids that might figure it out here as the season goes on.
Right. That's why I don't want to do it just yet. So I won't. I said it, but I'm not committing to it. Brian, you're loser of the week.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers give out a bunch of deferred money, and Rob Manfred could be figuring out ways to fix that. He is deciding to go to the owners and try to implement a golden at-bat rule.
I saw this, dude. What a ridiculous.
Yep.
Continue. Go.
The rule would allow a team to choose 1 at-bat in every game to use their best hitter, regardless of where they are in the lineup.
What are we playing, backyard baseball? Like, this is a rule I made with my buddies when we were 12 years old. How ridiculous. I thought it was April Fool's when I saw this.
I thought I was getting NBA Centel, and it was like a legit report. You got blackout issues, you have deferred money issues, your viewership is down, and you're worried about giving
You're worried about a golden at bat.
Look, I mean, does it make sense, like, for him? Like, an extra at bat out of Shohei or Judge every game? Sure, you'd love that. You'd love to see that. But at the same time, that's not baseball. It's not how it works. You have a batting order. You work through it.
Yeah, it's some of the best moments in baseball come from the underdog. It's poetry.
Right. It's
we got pinch hitters.
There's a reason this game has been around for 100 plus, 120 plus, whatever many years. It's because they didn't fix what wasn't broken. He's literally trying to fix something that's not broken. You could, I'm fine with speeding up the game to help viewership. Okay, fix that aspect. But this is just totally out of left field, totally ridiculous. And if any owner ever approves of this, they should give up their ownership title and sell the team immediately. Is how that should go down, because what a joke. Worst owner out of all the major, or worst commissioner out of all the major sports. And it's just, the bad keeps getting worse for I don't even remember the guy's name. I'm so fired up right now. Rob Manfred. Like, just horrible, dude. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I'm so sick of that guy.
Yeah,
Bring back, what was it, Bud Selig?
And he was no angel either, but it looked like one
No,
compared
but
to Rob Manfred.
He's better than this.
Yeah, and that's just a business move. That's taking away from the integrity of the game, not respecting the game, and making it a business move.
It's a total joke, and we can leave it at that. But that is the winners and losers of the week. Jack,
I got
one
one more
bit
loser.
more.
That's
right. You doubled up on the losers.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be Jaguars fans and Trevor Lawrence, and also Tom Brady.
We already knew that.
And also
Tom Brady. I don't know why Tom Brady.
So we'll get into it. So as you guys have already seen, I'm sure, as most NFL fans have already seen, Azeez Al-Shaair absolutely bounced Trevor Lawrence's head off of the ground.
It wasn't that bad.
I was told, I still didn't see the clip. I just saw the aftermath of it. Brian assured me on the previous show 2 days ago that it was not that bad of a hit. Brian seems to be pretty fair on those. I know he has a little bit of an anti-Jaguar bias, but Brian tends to be
listen,
fair
I know it was bad, but it wasn't. I tended
to believe, Brian, that it wasn't as crazy as they're making it out to be.
It wasn't egregiously bad as what everyone wants to try to say it is.
Brian, did it warrant a 3-game suspension?
Yes,
maybe 2.
If you read John Runyon's response and on the suspension, like the whole page long, this is why you're getting suspended. It's to Azeez Al-Shaair. He pointed out multiple things that make sense why he's getting suspended for 3 games. The hit itself, I'll keep it quick. Trevor Lawrence, did he slide too late? Yes. You need to protect yourself. I'm saying that just as a conservative, watcher of, supporter of Trevor Lawrence. Slide earlier. No play is worth that, when you're a 2-win football team. But at the same time, Azeez Al-Shaair launched off of 2 feet, forearm leading, straight at the face, and just absolutely snapped Trevor Lawrence's head back. His head did bounce off the ground like a basketball. So, Brian, I don't know where you're sitting here saying it wasn't that bad. It was very forceful, directly to his freaking giant schnoz that he has, and his head bounced off of the ground like a basketball. Like, I don't know how this isn't that bad to you.
It was bad, but it's not like a Vontaze Burfict, like over the middle of the field on Antonio Brown. People were acting like it was worse than that.
No, dude, that's one of the craziest hits ever, period. But
yeah, and that's what people were comparing it to.
Well, I'm comparing Azeez to Vontaze Burfict. I am.
Yeah, and I don't think they're even in the same stratosphere.
And I think you need to do your research on that. But the reason I brought Tom Brady into this conversation is because, as if I didn't hate him enough already, he had the nerve to say it was Trevor's fault for sliding late.
Kind of was.
Again, you need to slide. Like, Tom Brady was the best at this. And another reason why he had such a long career. When he was about to get sacked, he'd just throw it away for an incompletion, live to fight another down, not get a huge sack. Plays like that, he would have slid or gone out of bounds, not taken that hit. Like, you have to be smarter as a quarterback. I agree with him there. But, Tom, screw you. Okay? Like, I know you need to, practice your yapping for your broadcasting job because you suck at it, but keep my quarterback's name out your mouth if you're going to be talking about him like that. Simple as that.
Okay, so, again, I never actually watched a hit. I just watched about 4 times right there. Not bad at all. I mean, it would really. Did you see the side view of his head snapping off the ground like this? Okay, great. That's just the nature of the tackle. He would
sounds like a
late hit. Sure, maybe suspended for a game. Sure, but I don't know. He's like sliding down and like the guy's already diving at him, and he did it. It wasn't helmet to helmet. He led with his arms.
It was forearm to the face. You're not supposed to make contact neck or shoulder, like neck. Yeah,
But
neck
he was
up or whatever.
sliding. But he was sliding. It's not like he went like I don't
There
know.
are so many clips of guys do in the exact same
I'll put
situation
it this way:
where
that
they
is nowhere
jump
near the
over
Vontez
or
perfect
get
hit.
at.
That is
No.
nowhere near the Vontez perfect
No.
It's
hit.
not in
And
the
I said
same
it's not.
conversation.
I said it's not.
You
And
just said
people
you're
were-
comparing
No.
it to that.
No, not the play, the player. The player. I'm talking about the body of work right now. This
Oh,
isn't the first.
See,
This
you,
isn't the,
you did not say that.
No.
That's what I said. It's not the same as the hit on AB, but I'm comparing Aziz to Burfict. I am
Okay.
in the body of work, in the way that they play, in the type of issues that they've had hitting people in the past. Like you have to go back and look at Aziz. Not a clean player. Starts fights all the time. Look, John Runyon. I've read the freaking what do they call it? Suspension report or whatever it was from John Runyon's is like the NFLPA guy or whatever, the spokesperson.
Isn't he a lineman? Is he in the
He was.
league office?
He was. Yeah. But yeah, basically, long story short, what he laid out in there, if you guys want to go read it, go read it. He basically just said that this dude is not, the way that he plays is not representative of football, and we can't have it.
As we roll through the NFL confidence picks, last week was the hottest segment. This week is the winner and losers. We'll see if next week the confidence picks takes the title back. But the NFL confidence picks is presented by the Views from 400 merch and dice. It's in the works. The shirts are releasing soon. We have the final images. Everything's ready to go. Views from section400.com will have our pre-sale link. We'll have our link to buy. Make sure you check out our website for all the roundtables and all the other good articles that Brian and the rest of the staff contribute to there. But reviews from Section 400 merch to drop very soon. Stay on the lookout. It's going to be great. But since we just teased that, it does mean the confidence picks are here. And oh boy, is it getting spicy. Jack off to an early lead when we started, but it's tightened it up now. He sits at 455 points. I'm closing the gap slowly but surely every week at 442. Went 15-1 on the board last week. Would have clean swept it if the Patriots somehow close that game out. The Colts go for 2 and get it. Probably the only time that'll ever happen since, I had a perfect Sunday slate on the line. But yeah, I go 15-1. Brian goes 13-3, 414 points. So he's 30 points behind me and a whopping 40 points behind Jack. Brian has some shakeups to do this week. As the final points here is Jack with 455, Brian 442, or me with 442, Brian with 414, Brian 414. That's a lot of fours.
You've been saying a lot of fours.
How are you? I want you to go through your board here, 13-1, because you got some things you have to switch up here. You got to make some adjustments this week. You got to somehow try and get yourself back into the mix of things. Can't fall too far behind. There's only 4 weeks left of football.
Yeah, and maybe we'll go into the playoffs here, or at least Super Wildcard weekend, just because. But yeah, I think I'm just a loser when it comes to football. I'm just willing to accept that. And this confidence picks is the latest kind of way for me to just lose. But I'll run through my board. Top, we got Eagles, Panthers. Second, Bucks, Raiders. Third, Dolphins over Jets. Fourth, Seahawks over Cardinals, just hoping for a big win there to kind of sway things in my direction. 9, Chargers over Chiefs, same thinking. 8, Vikings over Falcons. 7, Bills over Rams. 6, 49ers over Bears. The 49ers have to win eventually. 5, Steelers over Browns. 4, Saints over Giants. I should have gone Giants over Saints, but oh well. 3, Lions over Packers. 2, Titans over Jags. And 1, just because I want them to stay alive, I guess, the Cincinnati Bengals over the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, the Bengals should beat the Cowboys. I mean, that shouldn't be I want them to stay alive. I mean, that's a winnable game for them.
They should have won the last 3 weeks. Joe Burrow's playing like an MVP, and the defense can't guard a stop sign.
Yeah, I mean,
but we kind of knew that coming in.
Yeah, but they just let Russell Wilson pass for 400 yards.
Yeah, Prime Russ is back. That's what he does.
No, he's not.
Dangerous.
Yeah, Dangerous Wilson is back. Whether you like it or not, you don't have to like it.
He
It
could
doesn't
be
mean it's not
back, but he
true.
shouldn't be throwing for 400 yards.
Brian, he's inevitable.
Oh, shut up.
Look,
Yeah.
there's obviously, as Matt said, some shakeups that you need to make in order to start fighting back in this race. Let's talk about the Seahawks over the Cardinals and the Chargers over the Chiefs. Pretty high up on your board. Two, two matchups with four good teams, and I want to get your analysis on them.
Well, Seattle.
Well, the Chargers over Chiefs is the biggest. What the heck's going on? That game's in Arrowhead, no?
It is an Arrowhead.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's got at 9 points. You're leaving on the board. I mean, could be a big swing, but holy smokes!
The Chiefs have to lose eventually, right? They can't keep
They
getting away
already
with
did.
this.
They already did lose, and this is like you're putting all your faith in Justin Herbert to go on the road to Arrowhead. I mean, you don't get this one, and Jack and I clean up at the top of our board. That's kind of, nail in the coffin for Mr. Bryan on the confident first annual confidence picks.
I think you're throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the first half right now.
Major Hail Mary.
All right, well,
Major Hail Mary.
We will revisit this after the Chargers boat race the Chiefs on Sunday, and then I get to post this clip and make fun of you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, look, I hope we get to do it. It'll probably do good views-wise, but
all I'm saying is the timing. You're throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the first half, and it might get returned.
Jack, I'm down by 3 touchdowns at the end of the first half.
You're about to make it.
You are down a lot.
I'm not going to run a running back draw here. I need to take a chance.
Like, I would have taken the chance on the Bears over the Niners at maybe like 11.
That's what I did.
Or take,
you both have
take a step. Yeah,
Jack, you have the Niners.
Well, I'm the only one who has the Bears. Jack has the Niners over Bears. Come on, guys, have you not learned your lesson? The head coaching change. The Bears are absolutely winning this week.
Yeah, but Isaac Durendo.
One of these teams still has playoff hopes. The other doesn't.
Bears are still in the hunt, according to the graphic.
Right. If the Niners are in the hunt, the Bears are are in the hunt too, dude. I mean, the Niners are dead in the water. No McCaffrey.
I'm thinking more divisionally. That NFC West, as good as it is, it's still open. The NFC North is not.
Well, I don't think the NFC West is really that good, but you're right. It is tighter for the Niners to have a shot than the Bears to come in and steal the North, which I just don't even think there is a shot. There's not enough games for them to even do that. So you're right there. But Jack, why don't you run through your picks for us really quick here so we can see where you're kind of leaning this week.
Yeah, I've got the Bucks over the Raiders to top it off. I've got the Eagles over the Panthers next, Niners over the Bears, Steelers over the Browns, Saints over the Giants, Vikings over the Falcons, Lions over the Packers. I think that's going to be a phenomenal game. Titans over the Jaguars. I'm not betting on my Jags. I did it last week. They cost me a point. I got to be smarter.
One whole point.
Look, I did that for a reason, but I got to be smarter. I'm not letting them cost me another point, not when Matt's closing in. So I got
closing in.
The Jags. What'd you say?
He said closing in.
Closing in.
Yeah, you're closing in.
Fast.
Yeah, something like that. You went 15-1. I went 14-2. We were right there. But anyway, I got the Bengals over the Cowboys.
Woo!
I've got the Cardinals beating the Seahawks.
Ooh.
The Bills over the Rams. Dolphins over the Jets. And my least confident is going to be the Chiefs over the Chargers.
So that Hail Mary might land in the hands of a wide receiver for me.
It might. That might be a full 9-point swing for you, which is a pretty big chunk. I don't know if we have data or analytics on the biggest swings in the confidence picks era, but that might be the biggest one.
I think, we've had some big ones.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, I think we're pretty much in line on our picks here, other than the Bears and the Niners. We just have our points kind of flipped around the board here. Brian's the only one who's taken the real Hail Mary.
The Chargers are a good football team.
They are.
They are. But
You're talking about betting against Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead.
It's not the playoffs yet.
It's still December.
Not the playoffs.
It is December. I just think there's other games where you could have taken that Hail Mary. That's all. Not saying you're going to be wrong, although I do think you're going to be wrong. But I think there's other areas you could have taken a shot. Like, fuck it, throw the Giants up there, throw the Titans and Jags up there. Jaguars don't have a quarterback. Titans have had statistically one of the best defenses. I mean, throw them at 12. But taking a shot against Patrick Mahomes? What are you, nuts?
Maybe.
I guess so, since you're doing it.
Or am I a genius?
I guess we're going to find out. But I'll run through my picks here before we wrap it up. Who is flying through the Excel sheet right now with their fucking board? Like, holy shit.
Sorry. I forgot you could see that.
Oh, my God. Like,
I'm entertaining
ADHD
myself.
much? But I will hit the picks really quick. I guess Brian's bored, so we'll wrap this one up quickly here, and I'll hit the picks. But I have the Eagles over the Panthers. Seems to be has to be the pick of the week. I mean, it would be so fitting for Philadelphia to lose this game, but I just don't see it happening. Although there has been a resurgence. We shit on Bryce Young, and I'm supposed to move through this quick, but we shit on Bryce Young.
He's playing well.
He's starting to look like a competent quarterback. Maybe they just had to get Deontay Johnson out of town. But second, 12 points, Steelers over Browns. I have the Vikings over the Falcons. Falcon season is about to be dead in the water. Bucks over the Raiders. Chiefs over the Chargers. Absolutely not getting on board with Brian. Dolphins over the Jets. Think the Jets could possibly win that game. So I don't know why I have them at 8, but I do. Bengals over the Cowboys. Bears over the Niners. The only one who took the Bears. I'm all in on the head coaching juju. I don't care who the new head coach is. Whenever they have a switch up, teams win in spite. And if there's a team to win in spite, it's the Bears to win in spite of Matt Eberflus. Bills over the Rams. Saints over the Giants. Seahawks over the Cardinals. My beloved Cardinals. I don't know, man. I think they faltered out. Ran out of steam. Titans over the Jags, and lastly, Lions over the Packers. I want to see the Packers win. I'm going to be rooting for the Packers, so 1 point, not really going to matter. I'll take the Lions over the Packers because they've been the best team. It is in Detroit, but I'll be all in on the Packers to win a game and make that NFC conference for the 1 seed super, super tight.
We all bet against Jordan Love during Toyota-thon. That can't go wrong.
I don't care about Toyota-thon.
Yeah, and it is the year of gimmicks. Gimmicks are seem to be hot right now. Baldiani 8-0. But yeah, I'm not going to get behind the Toyota-thon one.
At some point, you just got to accept the fact he's an MVP candidate during Toyota-thon.
Yeah, well,
talk to me after he beats this best in the NFL Lions team. If he does that, then
if he does that, then I can. Yeah.
Maybe I'll go believe in Toyota-thon and maybe even go get a RAV4. It's
kind of like betting against Patrick Mahomes. It's like I'm not going to do it, and if somehow some way Mahomes loses, you got me. And it's the same thing here. I'm going to take the Lions, and if somehow some way they lose, you got me. But I'm not going to stress out and be on the other side. And maybe in some sort of weird way, does Jordan Love throwing the ball indoors at Ford Field help a little more than him doing it at Lambeau?
Yeah. I don't know. He plays well in the cold, though. This game also should have been on Thanksgiving. I'm so annoyed it wasn't.
But how would they have flexed that out? What kind of logistical nightmare would that have been? Like,
just do it in the beginning of the year. They were both playoff teams last year.
Yeah, they were both projected to be good teams this year. They could have done that.
Yeah.
It's almost like they got the week wrong. But
this week is way better than, well, I guess, I don't know.
Some guy sent in the schedule and just accidentally put this game a week later.
I was going to say,
supposed to be.
Cowboys-Bengals, that would have been way better than Cowboys-Giants.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
And wait, who's the other team that we got? Packers-Dolphins.
Yeah, you could have done.
That's always just.
You could have done Steelers-Browns.
Yeah, 2 random teams.
That would have been a fun divisional matchup.
Steelers-Browns. Yeah. Chiefs-Chargers would have been fun on Thanksgiving night.
There's a bunch of these.
That
Bills Rams.
yeah, there
Maybe they just couldn't
really
open
are a
one
lot.
Thanksgiving.
There really are a lot more funds. They certainly underloaded it. I mean, the Thanksgiving this year sucked for football.
Yeah,
It was terrible.
Yeah, it did.
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I mean, I can't remember a bad year like this for the last in a while, to really be honest with you. But yeah, that page has turned. We are on to December. We are on to bigger and better things. I know we already kind of technically had half a week in Thanksgiving or November, half a week in December, but now the whole NFL slate in December. We're in Christmas time. It's the holiday spirit, the holiday cheer. You'll see the Fox and CBS Christmas cutaways, holiday cutaways. Sorry, don't cancel me. But that's just what it's going to be, dude.
It's Christmas.
We're in that time of year. We'll see. We'll see. Now you're going to get canceled. On Brian now.
I'll fall on that sword.
No, I agree. But yeah, no, that's all I got for this show. I'm starving. I got to go eat some food and cover some freight loads. So I will enjoy my rest of the night. I hope you guys too. I'm Matt, Brian, Jack. Always along for the rest. I don't know if they got anything else, but I don't. So I'm out. Peace.
We're a damn Eagle, Deuce Night.
Beat the Blue Devils.